Hey, Tom Wylie here, and today I've got a tip about roof sheeting, specifically attaching OSB to a roof. So let's get to it. What we have here is my shipping container shop. You can see the front half is still waiting for the trusses over there to be brought up and put in place, but we've got this back half sheeted, or trusses up, and it's sheeted, and it has it snowed good probably 12 inches on top of this, and then it's been raining a lot, so this OSB has gotten very wet. And I wanted to show you what happens when you do not space the sheets as they recommend. I'll show you up here. There's a sheet of flooring that we put on upside down, but it had already been glued down, so we just left it. But on the text there, it tells you how far to space the sheets apart. I can't quite, well, it looks like right there it actually says spacing. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. So there it says sized for spacing, an 1/8 inch on the ends and an 1/8 inch on the sides. See it right there? So that's what that is supposed to be. I'm sure the OSB up here has a recommendation on that as well, but I don't know what it is. We thought that we would be able to get this stuff covered before it got wet. Well, we were wrong. We also made another mistake. We had a big work day where a bunch of people came and helped, mainly some of my family came and helped us get the thing sheeted, which I was so grateful for. But one thing that one person did, he put the sheets up here and just tacked them. He just so you can see here's a sheet, a 4x8 sheet. He basically went like nail, nail, nail. So he didn't nail the whole run. He just nailed occasionally. Well, look what happened. Can you tell the sheets that he tacked in that way? Look at that sheet over there. We'll take a closer look at it. But there's another one right here. See how it's lifted? The area that was not nailed down bubbled up. So now if I go and stand on it, see the sponginess? So it swelled up because it got wet, and you can see it's bubbled on the end here. It swelled up, and then it just pulled away from the truss. And this one especially, I think we're gonna have to like rip that sheet off and replace it, because I don't think this is really gonna nail down. It's pretty firmly, 8 feet worth of length is suspended, and there's nowhere for the excess material now to go. So a lesson learned in fully nailing sheets down, but also spacing them. Had we spaced it properly, an 1/8 inch around the end probably is what they want, it would have swelled up and filled in those little gaps. It would have ended up tight, but we wouldn't have this ugly waviness going on that we now need to fix. So lesson learned. Here's the opposite. So here's right here, it's hard to see on the camera probably, but right where my foot is a bubble. Right there is a little sinkhole. And this is a unique area because there's a 4-foot span here where we doubled up the trusses. And then we have every 2 feet coming down this direction, we have a 2x4 running this way, like a joist or another, kind of a fill-in. I don't know what you call those, purlin, I guess, maybe. That's what we have, a joist hangered in there. So it's supported, but anyway, so we have this waviness going on. Metal roofing is going over this, so it won't necessarily be evident or a huge deal. We're obviously gonna have to fix the worst sheets, and I'm gonna finish nailing everything down. Now, I had been planning on coming back up here before putting the tar paper and roofing down and finishing nailing everything down, because I had seen, it was actually my brother, I had seen that my brother was just tacking the sheets up here, but I figured, hey, we're in a hurry, it's okay, he doesn't feel like nailing the whole thing, okay, I won't push it. I'll just come back up here and finish nailing everything before we put the tar paper down. But unfortunately, that would have worked, that could have worked had it not gotten wet. But it got wet, so lesson learned. Fully nail down your sheets for one, and number two, space your sheets as it says on the sheet. It'll say the spacing. Let's crawl down and I'll just look at the underside of these sheets and we'll see what it says. Okay, so I'm underneath the trusses or the roof now. Sorry about the idling tractor. Here's an example of the labeling on the underside of these sheets. We'll zoom in on it and see what it says. So up here it says, where did I see it? It says, there it says size for spacing, and then here it says recommended panel spacing, 1/8 inch at ends, 1/8 inch at edges. So it's the same thing as this flooring apparently. The flooring wanted the same, where was it, over here, they wanted the same 1/8 inch on the ends and the edges. Thankfully this stuff hung in there. We didn't, and this is tongue and groove 3/4, so it fared better. We also nailed it down very, very well. Plus we used subfloor adhesive, so that is really down well. And thankfully it's hanging in there. It's doing okay with all this exposure and water. We'll hopefully have this dried in by the end of next week. We had a lot of unforeseen stuff come up that made it so that we couldn't complete this project as planned. So I hope you can learn something from this when you're doing your next sheeting job. That's it for now. I'll see you on the next video. If you liked this content, if it was valuable to you, please give me a thumbs up, share it with somebody who would also appreciate it, and also subscribe if you want to see more. All right, I'll catch you later.